One Piece shit, right? Yonko, what's good?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going good, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, man.
Meaning to make this happen.
We've been trying to make this happen, man, for a while now. I mean, they don't know how long it's been, but you know.
Yeah, ever since the Shanks news, or even maybe before.
A little bit before.
Maybe before. There's been a bunch of Shanks stuff coming out, especially with the SBS, and then we have a movie coming, right?
Yeah.
So didn't expect the SBS stuff, so we can start there. And you've seen the entire SBS, right?
Yeah, I've had a quick read over it, and yeah, you know, typical Oda stuff and some good stuff too.
Okay. All right, so we'll start there. So I guess with the SBS, Oda talks about the crewmates of the Red Hair Pirates, and we get the names of the Red Hair Pirates. So,
did you get a kick out of it?
I mean, it's like you said, typical Oda stuff. I mean, we got obviously the ones we know: Shanks, Ben Beckman, Lucky Ryasop, and we got Lime Juice.
The one that gave me a kick is Bong Punch. She's like Bong
Punch, right? And okay, I love the monkey Monster, right? Because I was hoping he would get a name, and he did. Building Snake.
Yeah, I have no clue. Hongo sounds like
Howling Gab.
He sounds like he's from Wano.
That's what people are saying.
Yeah, I looked at him and I'm like, ooh, he could probably be from Wano. It's like, I want to see more of that. Because like Shanks did visit Wano and he had some connection to the place. But then the question is, if he visited Wano again, you know, it would have been post Oden dying. So like that brings into question. So unless Hongo left Wano and came and encountered
Wano like Izo and never went back.
Yeah, then it makes sense. But you know, that's just speculation, right? So we need more info.
Yeah, that's speculation. I mean, hopefully it's nothing too crazy like that where Shanks went to Wano post Oden's death and did nothing. Because that would probably be worse than Whitebeard, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they had connections, you know, to Wano. But I thought it was interesting Oda's revealing the names of Shanks' crewmates. It also talks about Shanks having a massive team now, right? Where the perception of Shanks and his crew, or his crew in general, was that it was just him and his guys that we saw at Marineford.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. This is cleared up that Shanks has like a massive team, and the people that appeared, those are the executives for the most part.
For sure. And that kind of makes sense, right? Because like when you look at how the Yonko were portrayed to us in Punk Hazard, where they said there's syndicates and there's pirates and there's affiliations, it makes sense that outside of the executive and the main branch, there's all these little affiliated pirate groups that can come together and, you know, have signed the contract saying I'm part of Shanks' crew.
For sure. No, absolutely. I think it's like we saw people were ready to join the Straw Hats like post time skip when it begun, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, imagine how many people are ready to join the Red Hair Pirates. So this makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm glad this got cleared up. And I mean, I can't wait to meet the rest of them. Here's the fear with Shanks is that once we meet all these people, that's going to be the first and last time, because the eventual run-in with Blackbeard. But this movie does give me hope. Before we talk about the movie though, quick thoughts on Oda and Zoro's father and Ushimaru and the fact that he doesn't want to reveal stuff in the manga, but then he's revealing stuff in the SBS.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Honestly, I think that's like a double-edged sword for Oda as a writer, right? Because you have all these characters that you're fleshing out, and you have all these plot lines, and sometimes you just can't get to everything in the main story, so you put them in the SBS. But I feel like saying explicitly, oh, this isn't Zoro's father, you know, it gets you into a different form of speculation. It's like, why? What was the point of like showing us who this character is? Is there like a...
He looks just like Zoro.
Exactly. Yeah. So now I'm just thinking to myself...
You're saying he's not his dad.
Like, well, what's going on? You know, is he like an uncle, stepbrother? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the dad thing, it was always far-fetched in my opinion. But I thought it was cool. You know, people ran with it. But Oda's getting that out the way. So my guess is uncle, People were saying grandfather because of how old he was.
Yeah.
But he looks just like Zoro for a reason. And Oda has been kind of keeping Ushimaru. He hasn't been in the spotlight as much. Like I remember like reading Wano, going through Wano. It's always like, okay, so why aren't you showing Ushimaru? It's always like silhouette or kind of dark. And now we see why, because he looks just like Zoro. But there's something that Oda's hiding because he said he kind of cuts it off.
Of course, he's
right?
like,
and he mentions they look alike.
He's like, they look alike, and out of respect to the guy who said, I'm not going to share my name, but then he does it in SBS. But the thing that surprised me is Oda saying, oh, with Onimaru, I was going to have him like be shocked that Zoro looks like Ushimaru exactly, but he didn't have time to get into that in the story. All right, and I found that surprising, a little bit.
He said it was too complicated.
Yeah.
So he ended up cutting it. I'm just like, what's complicated about it? I guess because we don't know enough, right? So if he reveals that, then he'd have to get into why, why Zoro looks just like Ushimaru, but we speculate. Do you think Zoro's from Wano?
I think he has connections to Wano. Honestly, it's so hard to like figure that part of the story. Yeah, like what is Zoro's origin? Yeah, and the way I see it, it makes most sense for Zoro to be from Wano, but it's like even then I'm on the fence about it, right? Because Koshido was out of Wano. There's all these characters that have an entire Shimotsuki village in East Blue, and mind you, Zoro was just roaming. Like his storyline is, I was going from dojo to dojo, challenging them, and then I ended up stopping at Shimotsuki.
I stumbled upon Shimotsuki,
and that's when I decided, until I win, I'm not gonna, stop fighting. You know? So is that like divine coincidence?
It'd be a really crazy coincidence if he. If he's from Wano and stumbles upon Shimotsuki, dojo, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, definitely has ties to Wano, in some way, but if he's from there, we gotta wait and see. Last thing about the SBS, what did you think about Oda drawing Killer and what he would look like if his smiles did succeed? What the hell was that? What is that?
Yo, honestly, like when I saw that, I was like, Oda has like a mind that is like no other. Like no other. It's like because this elephant.
I was thinking of that, but I would have never imagined this thing that Oda drew. It's like what?
Yo, I was like, you actually lucked out by not getting
by not getting anything.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? This is crazy. Like, I mean, people were saying that Kid would have, an animal to ride or whatever. I'm happy that Oda did not completely destroy Killer's design 100%. By making this happen, but 100%. This is Oda being Oda. Now to Shanks. One Piece from Red. Give me your thoughts, Yonko. I know you got the scoop, you got the inside information. For the most part, like I had been hoping for a canon film. Like that was my speculation. I wanted a canon film for Shanks and the Blackbeard stuff because watching the Demon Slayer movie and just the success of it, I was like, that'd be perfect, right? It goes with the main storyline. It's something that's is connected. It doesn't have to be, it being canon would be great, but I don't know logistically how it would work out with the timeline and the One Piece anime, etc. What do you think about all this?
Honestly, there's so much to like just dive in with regards to the film, right? Because we already know like the director, the creative staff behind it, right? The guys that did, the director is the same guy that did Code Geass. I'm not sure if you're familiar, right? And he was also the guy that did, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Ganzak Pirate Special Anime that was like in 1999 or 2000. It was like before One Piece was an anime, and so he was like the first like person to make Luffy into an anime, right? So that was kind of like a cool coincidence. And so from that, I was thinking to myself, there's so much you can do with this. And I'm kind of curious to know, like, just what your expectations are, because we do have like a little tagline and, some comments, from Oda, like his typical, he's like, he this time what he said is, I'm sick of drawing old men. I want to have a female character. Let me draw a girl. And then you see in the first visual, the girl with the voice or whatever. The voice, and she's got like these headphones, Skypean wings. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
So I think I just want a lot of Shanks. So something crazy that I had was like, time travel. The star has to go back in time, and every event that they see in the past, it's canon, but they're witnessing it in real time.
Oh, wow.
Right? So in that situation, it's like, it's the perfect scenario because everything has happened, right? But they can't change anything. So they're just witnessing Shanks's growth, like everything Shanks has gone through. And then you could implement this non-canon character in some way, but that's a way to incorporate canon elements. The main thing I'm hoping for is like a lot of canon stuff.
Yeah.
Because for Shanks to be the selling point and us to not know a lot about him, I think Oda knows like, okay, we're going to want something that holds up in the canon story.
Absolutely.
Right? Either some him and Mihawk stuff, not an outcome because that's not going to happen, but, you know, a meeting, the first meeting, maybe maybe a duel, you know, post Roger, him becoming a Yonko, what happened, or just his lineage. Where did he come from? Who is he connected to? Something in that vein that's canon, that pulls you into the movie, because when I think about a lot of the previous movies, they've been canon elements. Like the movies haven't been like fully canon, but there are things revealed in the movies that's like, that's canon. Yeah. That's a part of the story. You know, with the Laugh Tale stuff, even now Kiji. It's like a lot of stuff like that. So I'm hoping we get some of that.
Definitely. And I think just to add to that, we know that in the River Cards, they revealed that Shanks became a Yonko like 6 or 7 years ago, right?
Right.
And so between the time that we met him in East Blue and the time, you know, that Luffy set sail, that's about, what, 12 years or something like that, right?
Roughly, yeah.
10 years or so, where that's his journey to becoming the Yonko, or, you know, an emperor. So that in itself provides a lot of material for us to explore. But I don't know, like, if we spend so much time on Shanks, the selling point of these movies, you know, from a financial perspective, is always going to be having Luffy in there, having Luffy have a big fight, having the Straw Hats do cool shit. And so that's the part where I'm like, how can we incorporate as many canon elements as we want to see as fans, but also satisfy that broad, general mainstream audience that says, oh, Luffy's in a new movie, I want to see this, you know?
That's difficult. That's a difficult part. Keeping Luffy involved, but giving us a lot of Shanks, but also this character that you revealed, they're going to be important as well, right?
Yeah.
So either you make this character that you revealed in the movie a canon character, or something like a Zephyr, right? Yeah. Where it's like, is he canon? Is he, you know, something like that? Or is it just really Luffy centric and that character centric? Then we get just maybe some Shanks, like bits and pieces sprinkled throughout the movie. Because I remember film Gold, I believe, something huge that I was looking forward to. It was like Sabo and Rob Lucci clash,
and that was 2 seconds,
and that was it.
That was
the trailer was it. That was it.
Oh my god!
So I was like, oh wow, I got baited. I got baited and thought I'd get a lot of Rob Lucci and Sabo stuff, and it wasn't much at all. What the trailer showed was that. I don't think Oda does this here with this movie, because it's like, it's One Piece film Red. We gotta get some backstory, something important with Shanks that's solid. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And I think one thing that we haven't sort of figured out yet, but since the last movie, Stampede, which was coming out while the manga was in Whole Cake Island, and previous to that was Gold. Wow, I think the story when Gold was the story in Dressrosa at that point. I feel like it was. I feel like it was Zoe or something like that.
Post Dressrosa, because I remember it was they created like a whole.
It was Zoe. I'm pretty sure.
Dofi, Dofi and Gil Tesoro met in the past or something like that, but. Yeah, I believe it was like after Dressrosa. Yeah,
so I'm interested to see how the new material and like all these new characters that we've been introduced to since the time of the last movie can play a part in the story. You know what I mean? So
like Carrot and Wanda and
even those characters are like really interesting, you know. And I feel like there's a lot of fan service that can be made from that. Like, it's too early for like a Yamato, but like imagine you know, you have a fan like just a bunch of characters that people like out of the recent story in a separate environment. You know, that's kind of interesting to me.
So do we go the Stampede route? Because Stampede was a lot of fan service.
That's true. Like
a lot of characters that was just like, okay, these are the characters that you like, so we're gonna put them all in one place. My thing is that, for instance, a character like Kid. Can you have a character like Kid be there with Shanks?
I would like that.
Can you do that in this movie and have Kid's reaction to seeing Shanks again, especially now knowing that Shanks took Kid's arm?
Oh, it would be interesting. It would be very interesting. But the worst case scenario, the worst case scenario is none of this is addressed and it's all clickbait. The best case,
oh my God.
The best case scenario is he plays a prominent role. There's some overarching threat. That threat becomes a reason for Luffy and Shanks to collaborate. I don't know, with contact, without contact. You know, because clearly,
because like,
it's like a
how
mentor.
Can you have that happen? Can Luffy meet Shanks again in a movie?
I mean, if he doesn't have to meet Shanks, right? He can meet Ben Beckman,
right?
And be like, Shanks is clashing somewhere, or like dealing with the Gorosei, the Five Elder Stars, and there's like this thread, and he's collaborating. I don't know, the sky is the limit when it comes to that, right? Or it could just be that all of this stuff happens that we want to see, and you just have to decide whether to incorporate it into your canon, right? Because Oda still wants to protect certain story moments. Certainly, the first meeting. Like, he basically cut off, he made sure that Luffy was knocked out in Marineford just so Shanks can appear, right? So they don't meet. And there was that whole moment of, it's too soon. And
it's too soon,
clearly in the story, we're not there yet, but we're nearly there. The question is, maybe, Wano is over by the time this comes out, so Oda can elaborate on it.
That's the thing.
Because if
that's what I keep thinking about, the timeline, right? How much can he play with that, and how would it incorporate into the canon story? Because do you involve anything with Blackbeard here, like in the past at least?
Ooh.
Do we see that? What if we see that? What happened?
I would love to see that, honestly. But then what can you do with Blackbeard other than the fight that they had where he got the scar and he was part of Whitebeard's crew, right? Like, is there any other fights that, stand out? Is there any, betrayal that, Blackbeard was planning? And Shanks did say that, I have a bad feeling about Blackbeard. What led him up to that point of, suspecting Blackbeard? Because it's probably a long-term thing, right? Because was it Buggy or Shanks who mentioned this guy didn't sleep? So since then, he's been on the radar.
Maybe that from that point on, it was like, okay, this guy, I got to keep an eye out for this guy. So probably when they met up again, Shanks is probably, a bit on edge, like, okay, this guy, and Blackbeard being the type of guy he is, probably, try to downplay things, act like nothing was a big deal, then kind of caught Shanks off guard, but he wasn't off guard, but caught him in a way that he left a permanent scar. I think based off of even the trailer and the scars and everything, it'll be fitting to show how he got those scars.
The other thing is, I remember seeing the trailer, there was this thing about the voice that can destroy the world or something like that, right? And that kind of made me think about what if there's a connection to the voice of all things, right?
Voice of all things.
Because that's the one thing that we think about, right? Is the voice of all thing, and
the voice of,
and how would you play that? A voice that can communicate with the past, something like that, right? I have no idea, but if you're going to incorporate...
It could be exposition, right? It could be exposition on the voice of all things and what it really is. The origin story of the voice of all things, how important it is, why it matters. It could be, the voice could be the reason why Shanks maybe changed his goal. Because at one point, I wonder if Shanks viewed himself as the heir apparent to Roger. I got to carry on Roger's will. And now we see that he changed to, okay, I'm betting on the new era. So it's not, I'm not that guy. How did he realize that he wasn't that guy to do that stuff? Was it the voice? Did he realized you got to have the voice of all things to make this change? It's like you said, it's so many ways this movie and this could go, and I'm just hoping and praying for canon stuff, bro.
Yeah. Honestly, like fan service wise and just enjoyment wise, like the reason why, like, I don't know if you know this, but Film Z is one of my favorites is because of how much canon implication there is with, you know, seeing Aokiji for the first time, seeing, even if it wasn't canon, like the pacifistas, seeing the relationship between Zephyr and the Marines, knowing that there was a Shichibukai that, you know, cut his arm off. Like, there was so much packed into that story, and then at the end of the day, there was an amazing fight. Like, that shit just went hard. Right.
And the thing, what I liked about it as well, it wasn't just Luffy having amazing fights, right? We saw Kizaru going crazy. We saw Zephyr doing great things. And so that's why it's my favorite as well, is that it wasn't too far off from the canon story. Like, it's so many things incorporated within that film that I'm like, bro, how can this not be canon? Like, Zephyr is too perfect to not be, like, you know, it's like if Otis came out, I was like, oh yeah, Zephyr's canon. It's like, okay, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. And even what happened to him, like Kizaru being the one to take him out, it's like, it felt cohesive to the point that it was like, this could be a canon movie.
100%.
That's why I really enjoyed Film Z.
100%.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Film Gold, like, I like how fun it is, but it's just like, it's like this separate setting. It's completely just removed from the main story.
And then they tried to put like canon elements with like Karina being Nami's buddy when they used to be thieves, you know? They were running licks together. They're like, we used to run licks.
Like,
we had licks together. I'm like, nah, come on.
Nah, it didn't hit like that. But you know, Stampede was fun. Stampede was a fun time. A lot of characters that we love brought back. Crocodile, Smoker, you know, Sabo. It was just, and even at the end with the Sabo and Ace stuff, it's like fan service. You know, when they revealed the Laugh Tale stuff. It was great. Enjoyed that. So I think here, like you said, this character that they're showing, I wonder the role that she's gonna play. Because like you said, she had on like this headphone, microphone, whatever. Then the wings. It's a lot going on. Definitely. So it's I think Oda's saying that he's tired of drawing old men. It's like, what do you think about like the movies with Zephyr, and you think about Shiki,
Tesoro,
right?
And even like, Bullet, right? And
Bullet as well. Right.
Like, honestly,
a bunch of old dudes.
When you think about it, and this is something that I contemplated after Stampede, is the power creep or the power scaling of the villains always has to keep up with how Luffy is getting stronger. And I felt like with Stampede, it was very hard to juggle in the movie all of his forms, all of his abilities, his weaknesses. Like, even Snake Man, as much as of a good showing as it got, you know, they had to come in with some special gear 4th attack, because now post Wano, people are going to expect Rio, people are going to expect Luffy to, you know, be able to do Advanced Conqueror's Haki, and now it's like Oda can't come in and put another super strong villain that is Yonko level, and he's not in the main story, so he pivots away, right? Because it's very hard to keep up with Luffy's growth, and then also give all those fan favorite moments and fan servicey abilities that now Luffy has accumulated so much of. You know, whereas before it used to be one or two techniques.
The good part about it being non-canon is that you could just create some wild devil fruit. Right, where it's just like something super overpowered that doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't matter because it's a movie. Right? It's not canon. I think you'd have to incorporate that, some crazy hockey. I'm not sure if you use a canon character and have that be the reason, but the thing is, one thing you cannot do is have Luffy in any way interact with Shanks. In this movie. So maybe it could be a situation where they feel that each other is close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
Something like that.
That would actually be like, cool. It's like, oh, Shanks, you know, and then, you know, Luffy, it's too soon to see you. Bye.
What if at like the end of the movie, right, could be like a situation where Shanks feels that Luffy's close by. And then not soon later in the canon story, Shanks and Luffy actually meet, you know, where that could be like a setup or a storyboard for what's to come.
That would be like a dream setup, right? Just to have that sort of two characters and just that alignment between the manga and cohesion between the manga, the movie that's just about to come out. Maybe it was like, even if it's a trailer where, oh no, you can't have it in the trailer, but like just so close, because apparently, I guess I can say this, right? They're planning to release this as close to Japan as possible, right? And that's something that by this point we are looking forward to, right?
They're gonna try.
Yeah, okay. You know, typically, what is it, like a month behind?
A month at least. Yeah.
Which is all right.
I mean, the only thing I hope is that it releases in Japan. I just hope no spoilers. I don't want to get spoiled.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to, because you know what happens. It like gets released and all of a sudden spoilers are floating around everywhere.
It's not just that. Toei comes out and they put out their own fucking spoiler trailers.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Yeah, like even when you watch the One Piece anime, and like sometimes the titles and the preview, I'm just like, bro, like you're giving away way too much. You know,
they love doing that.
Anime only, you don't know any better. You're like, whatever. But as a manga fan, you're just like,
why are you doing this? What was the reason? You know, wow.
And then speaking of Toei, you know, they got
shooters, man. It's all right.
They got a lot going on with Toei right now.
Yeah.
But I guess we can give our thoughts quickly on that with Mark. How you feel about that entire situation?
Honestly, it's a very sad situation, right? Because to be a content creator and give your, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into communicating your passion and being like, I want to talk about these series and, you know, share my passions. And he was very successful at that. And then to have Toei, like them come in and be like, blanket check mark and we're going to take down your videos. And honestly, when I was going through like my shutdown, Mark reached out to me, you know, and I tried to put him in contact with some of the guys that I do know at Toei, but it didn't really progress, which is sad because there's a whole, like, Toei is Toei America, Toei Japan, Toei Europe. There's all these entities that are all going on. And so it's very easy to like misdirect and say Toei America when it's not really them, and it's Toei Japan here, and like they are very difficult to work with or like just engage with from a fan perspective, right? And just speaking as on my opinion as a fan, right? To be able to just communicate your passion, right? And we've seen like creators being able to work, quote unquote, with Toei, but most of the time it's just with Funimation, with the blessings of Toei America, right? And that's nice, but there has to be some sort of like coming to an agreement. And it's not even just that. If you could just have clear guidelines of this is what you can do, this is what you can't do, it gives everybody clarity. If you're making content, like, okay, we have clear rules about this is what's going to take my video down and this is what's not, you know. But if you're not enforcing it in a consistent manner, then everybody just gets hurt and you end up with PR disasters like this. So I wish Mark all the best, honestly. It's not an easy situation to be going through, and hopefully someone at YouTube, you know, responds to all of this uproar that's been going on and we get some results, because it'd be sad to see a creator of his stature or creator of any stature be taken off the platform due to a situation like this.
Yeah, it is difficult, right? Because as a content creator, we feel like we help with promotion. I think we keep the spirit of One Piece alive, and you know, I think it's clear that we're all super fans of the series, and Toei does reach out to work with One Piece content creators, right? And it's so odd that, again, you said there's no guidelines. What's weird is that there are already measures in place where, for instance, I think after you dispute a blocked video or something like that, they come back. One time it happened to me, they came back and they were like, if you don't take the video down, we're going to give you a copyright strike. Where I was like, why can't that be the case every time? Why can't you tell me, hey, if I don't do this, we're going to give you a copyright strike, and then there'd be some discourse? Because
of course,
working with a bot, it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Right? Because they're just looking at the video, okay, somebody flagged it, and then the whole process is stupid.
Of course.
Because they flagged a video, I'm saying that's not the case, then it goes back to the person that flagged the video.
It's like there's no middleman arbitration of, is this within our guidelines? Is this within?
No.
It's like no
at all. It just goes back. It's like it goes back to the person that did it. So it's just like, what's the whole point? And for YouTube, they're just like hands off. Like, hey man, this is fair use. It's it's content IDs. No, it's a terrible system. It's solely for these companies. The creators, it's shown that they really don't matter. It doesn't even matter like your size. Of course, sometimes you get a YouTube contact or whatever. But even then, it's kind of like, oh, well, there's nothing much we can do. You just got to go through and dispute all. What?
Yeah.
You tell me there's nobody that you can talk to and say, hey, this was obviously a mistake.
Yeah.
Nothing can happen. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's honestly, there's YouTube itself, right? If it comes to, if you're the right individual, if you're like a corporation, if you're an entity that YouTube quote unquote values you and values your business, then you get creme de la creme, the red carpet, treatment. They'll make sure.
Even I saw PewDiePie made a video. It was like, yo, somebody copyrighted his own music.
Yeah.
And then his dispute got rejected.
Yeah. So, and this is where we're at. That's PewDiePie. He's at the top. And this is where we're at with the individual content creator space. Whereas a company, a television network, you saw that, was it The Late Show, right? With Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. Show the footage, do your thing. Nobody's going to dispute you because why? You've got...
They have people
backing you. You have an entire network backing you. And at the end of the day, right, it's because YouTube values those relationships monetarily to make sure that, these are our advertisers. They will pay for advertising space. They pay for the ads that run on people's channels. So we can't run afoul of them, which is kind of crazy, that's how the system works. But at the end of the day, that's how they pay their bills.
I understand that, but it's just like, it's just super unfair in regards to there's no fair discourse.
Of course.
I understand the advertisers and those big companies, why they're important, but give the content creators a chance.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, give them an opportunity to make their case. Don't just have it where they say, oh, this is my video. And then all of a sudden you have to file an appeal to the same person that flagged the video.
100%.
They're gonna just say, what? No.
Yeah.
It's still our video.
Nah.
And then even if it's a fake strike, I think it was Zoro Fanboy, he lost his channel like that. His entire channel on fake strikes. But because he was a smaller creator, nothing.
Yeah.
He just has to start a new channel. Which is crazy.
It's insane. It's honestly, it's insane. And I remember because there was that whole discourse about YouTube Rewind, and I remember Marquez Brownlee, right, MKBHD, he was like saying the whole reason why YouTube does that, quote unquote, to celebrate YouTubers, it's not really that they want to celebrate YouTubers, it's that they want to court advertisers by saying, look, we have this video promoting all these top creators on our platform so you can advertise with us. Whereas a fan or a person on the internet is looking at these videos like, there's so many great things and great memes and great cultural moments that were created on this platform that we want YouTube to recognize. And it's that dissonance and this misunderstanding between what the audience wants and what creators are looking for versus what YouTube wants as a business. And until they bridge that gap, we're going to run into these issues, which is so sad, honestly.
No, you're 100% correct. It's just, I feel like we're just in a time loop because it keeps happening. There's different creators where somebody gets a strike or they lose their channel or and the thing is, it's so right because as a creator, especially if that's your livelihood, you can get a strike. You can get strikes just back to back like that, and to know that this could happen,
absolutely,
and there could be just no communication from these big companies is asinine.
Yeah.
It's asinine. And like I said, with a YouTube Rewind, it was people expecting YouTube to highlight the best moments on YouTube, right? Some of the best creators that came out of nowhere that made an impact. It's like a selling point where they started incorporating Will Smith and all the, like, wait, hold on. Like, this is supposed to be about the creators. Will Smith is cool, but like, that shouldn't be the real focus of this. And it started like, it felt like companies were being pushed and like, wait, what? Like, the real creators that put all this together, they weren't getting recognized. But you know, YouTube is gonna YouTube. I wish the best for Totally Not Mark. Resolved. I know it's a lot going on there. Support him, you know,
Definitely.
at Toei, tell them to fix their shit, and you know, YouTube as well, because it's a Toei issue, but it's also more so a YouTube issue because YouTube allows it.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
So huge expectations for the film. Yonko, any final words?
There's going to be so much to look forward to, not just with the One Piece film, the manga, the anime. We didn't speak about the anime, but this year it's going to end on an amazing episode 1000. Actually it is, but there's okay, so I'm going to just say it, right? 1004 is the last episode that's going to count to the count. So look forward to that. 1006 or no, 1005 is the new opening. That's a whole different video that we can talk about, you know, because Rooftop is coming up, like,
oh my god,
right now, New Year's, right?
Oh my goodness.
And then next year is also chapter 1000. There's so much content to look forward to.
Oh my gosh, bro, I'm excited. I can't, bro. You know they're gonna spoil a bunch of shit in the opening.
Oh my god, bro, they're gonna spoil the manga. They're gonna show Ushimaru in the fight.
They're gonna show Ushimaru, bro. They're gonna show like, what's it, Ifrit? They're gonna show Ifrit in the damn opening, bro.
They're gonna have Queen doing fuck shit.
They're gonna show all that in the goddamn opening. But I'm excited either way.
Definitely.
But nah, Yonko, I appreciate you joining me, man. This is great. Thank you for all the information. People, if you want to follow Yonko, I'll link his Twitter below for all the just anime news in general. If you want to know what's going on, follow Yonko on Twitter, and Yonko also has a YouTube channel, breakdown various things on his channel. Check it out as well. Link those below. Yonko, I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you, appreciate it, and I look forward to doing something more. You know, have you on my channel. I'll be showing up more on the YouTube space. And for everyone following on Twitter, thank you. Brothers also
for sure. Let me know.
Yeah,
let me know, because you know I do a lot of the anime reactions too. So it's like one day we can like react to an episode together. So
for sure.
It'd be dope. Or even the opening. You know, when the opening drops.
I heard some good shit about that, man. There's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. We can definitely do that. But for, check out Yonko Twitter and below. Drop a like. Subscribe for more content like this, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.